the bidding heats up.
Mark, are you in on that deal with Robert?
I'd rather do it myself, but if that's what it takes, yeah, the two of us at $500K each for 10% each, I'll do it.
Shark Tank. It's either where dreams come to fruition or are crushed beyond repair.
Mark, are you allergic to positive, negative ion stuff?
No, I'm allergic to scams.
Approaching its 9th season, Shark Tank has given the opportunity to hundreds of hardworking entrepreneurs to build up their businesses. But there's gotta be a catch, right? Well, let's find out. Hi, and welcome to New Wave, where today we'll be looking at 20 secrets that Shark Tank doesn't want you to know. Number 20, you don't need to deal. Just by being on the show, you'll see a spike in sales, regardless of making a deal or not. And with the show's increasing popularity, entrepreneurs are realizing this, appearing on the show with no actual intent of giving up part of their business. So instead of giving a legitimate offer to our group of investors, they'd use the opportunity as a way to market their own business. Hey, it's free promotion, right?
A full-size traffic safety cone for kids.
There is an actual child in there.
Say hello, Tanner.
Hello, I'm Tanner, but I can't see.
Number 19, ABC's share. Throughout the first 4 seasons of Shark Tank, the entrepreneurs who did manage to secure a deal with the Sharks would have to hand over either an additional 5% equity of their company or 2% of profits to ABC and the show's producers. However, Mark Cuban was able to deter the network away from the idea in season 5 and would revoke any deals made in the past with successful entrepreneurs. Good guy, Cuban. Number 18, other versions. Shark Tank wasn't the first of its kind. In fact, the concept came from a Japanese television network in 2001 named Tigers of Money. Then the United Kingdom would follow suit with a spin-off named Dragon's Den, which also has its own Canadian spin-off version of the same name and also featured Robert O'Leary prior to the Shark Tank. Other countries like Spain, Poland, Ukraine, and Finland host their own versions as well. So if you fail somewhere, you've still got other options, which can even lead to international markets. Bonus! Number 17, the 20%. Now, believe it or not, you actually have a better chance of getting into Harvard than you do of appearing on Shark Tank. In 2014, out of the 45,000 entrepreneurs who applied to be on the show's 6th season, less than 1% would get the opportunity to pitch their business idea to the Sharks. Then, out of those 450 who met the Sharks, only about 20%, or 90 people, have their pitch featured on the show because it was more exciting to watch than others. Number 16, closing the deal. If you understand business, then you should know that handshakes on the show actually mean nothing when closing a deal, which is why after the shark who might have been given an offer could still back out of it. But why though? Well, entrepreneurs have been known to fudge their numbers a little bit to appeal more to the sharks, or sometimes the claim is made that a product offered has a patent, which is a crucial factor in most decisions, when in reality it's either pending or was declined after on-show agreements were made.
A provisional patent.
Provisional, so you haven't filed yet. Why? What's stopping you?
It's the dollars. You know, it's basically...
15. Earpieces. Yeah, the Sharks have earpieces that are connected to the producers on set, and this doesn't necessarily mean that the show is staged. The Sharks invest their own money and are not forced into anything they're up against, but the producers will occasionally nudge the investors to compel entrepreneurs in sharing more of their story, or, as you may see Kevin do from time to time, challenge someone's knowledge.
Really, really beautiful. I think you're limiting yourself by staying in the vinegar mixer space, and I think that...
Number 14, psychiatrist. Every entrepreneur that appears on Shark Tank reacts to the pressure of the show a little bit differently. That's why there's a psychiatrist on set who talks to them before and after they make their pitch. Like a doctor at a sporting event, though in this case it's more to make sure that the show's entrepreneurs don't have any post-tank trauma, I guess you could say. Which makes sense because things can get pretty heated in there. Number 13, step out of the tank. Kevin O'Leary is famous for warning entrepreneurs not to step out of the pitch session to call a loved one or discuss a deal. He often says that bad things happen when you leave the Shark Tank, which can be true, but it turns out, statistics-wise, that you have more of a chance to secure the deal by stepping out. About 3 times more, in fact. Obviously, every pitch is unique, so every outcome is unique as well. But the Sharks, if interested, will also reevaluate their offer, and that can lead to partnerships between sharks. So don't be afraid to ask for more time. Number 12, don't cry. Now, most people think that crying makes you look weak or underprepared. However, crying didn't seem to break a deal. Up until the 2016 season, about 29 entrepreneurs have cried inside of the tank. Surprisingly, more successful entrepreneurs have cried than unsuccessful ones, about twice as many. The bottom line here, while it's certainly not recommended, crying won't kill your deal and can even be beneficial to a story that you might be telling. Which leads us to number 11, captivating. Now, every shark loves a good story. Most of the successful pitches had some kind of story behind them, either the entrepreneur's personal story or the story of how the product was invented. Stories captivate our imagination. It's a way that we bond with people. And successful pitchers wanted the sharks to feel bonded to their ideas, so they would invest. Even O'Leary agrees. The perfect example of this is the bottle breacher pitch in Season 6, Episode 8. He came with a military background and a family story behind the idea, and the sharks ate it up. Number 10, credibility. But it doesn't matter how captivating an entrepreneur can be if they didn't know their math, had fuzzy numbers, or asked for an unreasonable equity split, then the deal was almost twice as likely to fail. About 64% likely, actually. Number 9, food products. Now, if you didn't know, the sharks are in the tank, recording a show's single season for 12 hours a day, 17 days straight. So they get a little angsty pretty quickly. So pro tip here, have them to like you better. If you have a food product to offer, then bring it in. Not only will tasting the product help their decision more, but as you might imagine, the hours are long for them. They don't get much of a break, and they can get bored pretty easily. So it's going to get you on their good side. Number 8, interaction. Taste the sauce, try our hat, touch the fabric, play our game. When you can touch an idea or taste the product, it becomes far more powerful, especially the taste part, because they don't get much of a break to eat. Some entrepreneurs even created an interaction when they didn't have a tangible product by asking a shark to participate in the pitch or even guess an answer. This led to about an 81% success rate. Number 7, relevancy. Who else could you trust more than yourself? Exactly. Sure, a captivating story or a goal can get our investors' attention, but they need someone they can trust, someone who reminds them of themselves. Use your story and point out similarities with a shark. Some entrepreneurs actually said, "A factory worker's son," or "I did the same thing as you, Mark." This actually helped, and sharks like investing in people like them. Mark Cuban called 16-year-old founder Benjamin Stern Mini-Me when he pitched his bottleless bath company in Nobo in Season 7, Episode 19. So Cuban gave him $100,000 in exchange for 25% equity. Number 6, be entertaining. Well, duh, this one should really be obvious, but just because something might be useful doesn't mean that it's going to get the shark's attention. A good sense of how to do this is the peak technique, where you offer, or more easily, ask something unique during your pitch. Now, obviously, you shouldn't ask for a deal like $100,000 for 37 3/4% in your company, though it definitely sounds more enticing than, say, 40%. The cycloramic pitch is a good example of the peak technique as well, where an inventor created an app that used the vibrations of a phone to make it spin on its own 360 degrees and capture a panorama. Number 5, simplicity. While many entrepreneurs come to the tank with a mobile app or other tech product, some entrepreneurs have scored big in the marketplace with remarkably simple consumer goods. Screen door repair product ScreenMend, for example, went from $4,000 in sales to more than $1 million in a single year. All-purpose cleaning tool Scrub Daddy has done $50 million in sales, according to Griner, making it the most successful product in Shark Tank history. Number 4, vocals. Now, we commonly signal self-assurance through our tone of voice, i.e. deep tone of voice make people trust you more. Good posture is going to earn you more respect, but a deeper, calmer voice will have the sharks right in your hands. So before going into a pitch, practice it nice and slow, with choreographed pauses. These pauses give you the chance to take a deep breath and slow down. But if the product is promising, this doesn't really matter too much. The Scrub Daddy pitch is a good example of an anxious, high-toned person, but he was confident, and the product is Shark Tank's most successful ever. Then there's the Ionic Ear. No amount of preparation could have saved that disaster. Number 3, Shark Tank was not popular at first. The first season of Shark Tank didn't even break the top 100 primetime shows in terms of average viewership. It was only after Mark Cuban joined in Season 2 that the series began to grow its audience. Season 5 then attracted an average of more than 8 million weekly viewers, up from 4.8 million during the first season. Number 2, Clueless. This one, I'm really surprised that not many people know on their own, but aside from the entrepreneur's name, the Sharks are given zero detail about their pitch and product. The show wouldn't be as entertaining if they did. And number 1, the Sharks pitch their update segments. This basically shows favoritism between the investments that the Sharks have made. If a product has been doing well in sales, the shark or sharks who invested into it could choose to do their update segment on that rather than another that hasn't been doing as hot. This way, product sales can get a boost from the added awareness. Well, that concludes 20 secrets about Shark Tank that they probably didn't want you to know. If you learned something new, feel free to comment below. Even like and subscribe, and have yourselves a wonderful and excellent day.